Just how far can you go to come out on top of your game? Well, in the tennis world, some players have no qualms with getting down and dirty just to secure some cool prize money. You know, by hook or crook. From taking hard drugs to boost efficiency, to faking an injury. These are 8 tennis players who have been caught cheating. And first up, we have to start with this guy, because what he did didn't just get him disqualified. He also got slapped with a fine that cost more than all of his 2023 prize money so far. Hugo Gaston. Gaston is a French tennis player that made his way to the big stage when he reached the 4th round of the 2020 French Open as a wild card. But I guess a wild card isn't the only wild thing this guy's got up his sleeves. Because fast forward to his match against Borna Coric at the 2023 Madrid Open, Gaston did something so wild he almost kissed his career goodbye. During his second round defeat, with a score of 3-6, 3-6, Gaston intentionally dropped a ball from his pocket onto the court when Coric was about to smash. His plan was pretty simple. He was hoping to cause a let and force the point to be replayed. But he was caught red-handed. And here's the kicker. It wasn't even his first time pulling this trick. The ATP had previously warned Gaston in late 2022 for doing the exact same thing, not once, not twice, but 4 different times. I guess he ran out of luck this season. And to make matters worse, Gaston had been throwing a series of anger tantrums, so it was practically impossible to overlook his misconduct. The ATP Tour initially slapped him with a fine of $155,000, but after appealing the punishment, the amount was reduced to $77,500 on the condition that he wouldn't commit any additional violations during a 1-year probationary period. Just maybe the fine was a little over the top when you think about it, but at least he didn't get banned for life, like these guys. Alicia Merdiva and Sofia Dimitrieva. Like other sports, tennis has rules that make sure everything is in place, and one of the biggest no-nos in this sport is match fixing. Just so you know, match fixing is when players get sneaky behind the scenes and rig the outcome of a match. It's kinda like trying to rob a bank, only this time you just have to bribe some tennis officials, or sometimes other players. And that was exactly what these 2 Russian players, Alicia and Sofia, were caught doing. Even though the details of the matches were not made public, we do know that Alicia and Sofia were caught red-handed match fixing, both as solo artists and as a doubles team. After a series of investigations, Merdiva was found guilty of not 1, but 2 counts of match fixing. Meanwhile, her crafty friend Dimitrieva took things to the next level, racking up an impressive 6 counts of foul play. And as if that wasn't enough, she also had the audacity to give the investigators the cold shoulder. Anyway, they were both slammed with a lifetime ban from the sport. Damn. Well, at least they can both start a career as poker players, where their bluffing skills might actually be appreciated. Now, if there's any crime that's as serious as match fixing, it's using drugs to boost performance. Like the time Martina Hingis tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug. Everyone knows that Hingis is one of the best players women's tennis has ever seen. I mean, come on, she held the #1 spot in both singles and doubles ranking for 29 straight weeks, has a total of 25 major titles, and holds the most records in the WTA. Martina is a powerhouse, no cap. It's almost like she's high on steroids every time she steps on the court. Oh, wait, she actually was? Okay, well, maybe not steroids, but back in 2007, Martina tested positive for cocaine. Now, Martina claimed innocence and denied taking the drug before the match. But hey, losing to Laura Granville on the same day as the positive test? That's some unfortunate timing, don't you think? Well, the authorities thought the same thing. In fact, things got so messy that she decided to retire shortly thereafter. And just when you thought every scenario imaginable leading to a positive drug test had been exhausted, one tennis player tested positive to cocaine, and his excuse will throw you off. And that guy is Richard Gasquet. Gasquet is known for 3 things: being a Frenchman, his smooth backhand, and most of all, his cocaine scandal. You see, before a tournament, every player is mandated to get tested to make sure they are free from performance-enhancing drugs. And back in 2009, Gasquet's test result came back positive, with about 1.46 micrograms of coke found in his urine sample. But here's where things get interesting. Gasquet claimed that he had accidentally ingested it while getting freaky at the club. Apparently, Gasquet went to a nightclub to see a French DJ perform, and over the course of the night, he locked lips with a woman who had used cocaine. She had it on her lips and passed it along to him. As crazy as this sounds, the ITF accepted Gasquet's explanation and handed him a much-reduced 2-month and 15-day ban instead of the initial 2-year ban. I wish we could say the same for Victor Troicki. After making it to the top 32 players at the Monte Carlo Masters back in 2013, all players were asked to carry out both urine and blood tests before they would be allowed to compete. And when it was the Serbian's turn, he decided to go halvesies and only handed in his urine samples during the in-competition testing. His reason? He was under the weather on that fateful day, so he asked permission to be excused from the blood test. He requested that he be allowed to delay the blood test until the next day, when he would hopefully be feeling better. I mean, come on, we've all used that excuse to skip a dentist appointment, right? And to make matters worse, the tournament officials were not buying it, and as a result, he was slammed with an 18-month suspension, putting his tennis career on hold. Okay, well, maybe Troicki wasn't technically caught doping, but hey, rules are rules. The ITF cited Article 2.3 of the Tennis Anti-Doping Program, which basically means you can't refuse or fail to provide samples without a darn good reason. And they didn't think the Serbian's excuse was a good enough reason to make an exception. Just like they didn't buy the following player's excuse in 2022. Simona Halep. Now, if there's one thing Simona has never failed to do, it's make our jaws drop. Since her breakthrough into the spotlight in 2013, the Romanian has consistently sent shockwaves down the spine of the tennis world. And I'm not just talking about her incredible performance on the court. You see, back in 2022, the two-time Grand Slam champion was accused of a doping offense by the ITA, after a drug control sample confirmed that she tested positive for roxadustat. Roxadustat is a drug that can give players an extra dose of stamina and all that other jazz that they need to stay on top of their game. Pretty sneaky, huh? Well, only naturally. The International Tennis Integrity Agency wasn't about to let Halep off the hook, even though she claimed that she had no idea that the drug was banned. Because, as it turns out, this wasn't Halep's first rodeo with doping charges. Plus, coming from a player that apparently knows every single rule in the book, it's not difficult to point out why the authorities were not buying it. So they handed her a provisional suspension. But that wasn't the first time a tennis player got caught for doping and went on to play dumb. Let's have a look at Barbara Streitova. Back in 2013, the Czech tennis player also found herself in a bit of a pickle when her drug tests came back positive. It turns out that she'd been popping a pill called sibutramine, which is notorious for its weight loss properties and ability to enhance metabolism. And while it may not be a direct game changer on the court, we can't deny that it may have given the Czech an advantage, even if it's only in terms of her overall physique. In the end, whether she took it to boost her on-court performance or just to flaunt that fabulous physique, Barbara's little tryst with sibutramine landed her a 6-month ban from tennis. Not to mention, she also lost all of the prize money and the ranking points she had got from playing in the tournament. And now that we're down to the last one, we have to talk about this guy that took cheating to a whole new level. Danielle Keller. Back in 2011, Keller faced some serious allegations that rocked the tennis world. He was accused of engaging in match fixing. But Keller didn't just stop at match fixing, folks. He also encouraged other players to do the same. After playing detective, the Tennis Integrity Unit found Keller guilty of all the charges levied against him. The TIU concluded that he had indeed violated the sports integrity rules and tarnished the fair and competitive nature of professional tennis. As a result, the Austrian kissed his career goodbye. Keller was slapped with a lifetime ban from professional tennis. So there you have it, folks. Just like every other part of life, these cheating scandals just go on to prove that you can't escape the consequences of your actions. But at least you can learn from them. Let us know down in the comments what you think about all of this cheating. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to learn more interesting things about your favorite tennis players.